summer, I'm Jack and you're watching BTN. Let's see what's coming up on today's show. We find out more about the great tech outage of 2024. Chow down on some tasty bugs. And meet a rising Aussie tennis star. But first today, we're going to find out more about Kamala Harris. It's a name you've probably heard a lot lately, and you're going to keep hearing it. Let's find out why. This is Kamala Harris, Vice President of the United States of America, and a former prosecutor with a reputation for being tough. She's also a Libra, 157 centimetres tall, has 2 stepkids who call her Marmala. Oh, and if things work out in her favour, she could be the next president of the United States. So, how did she get here? Kamala Harris was born on the 16th of October 1964 in Oakland, California. Her parents were immigrants to the US. Her father, Donald, was born in Jamaica, and her mother, Shyamala, was born in India. They met at the University of California, where they were both passionate about human rights. In fact, some of Kamala's earliest memories are of going to civil rights marches with her parents. Kamala says this influenced her to go to university, where she earned degrees in political science, economics, and eventually law.
I, Kamala Harris, do solemnly swear.
In 2003, she was elected as district attorney for San Francisco. That's someone who represents the government in court, making the case that people accused of crimes should be punished. In 2010, she was elected to be the Attorney General for the state of California, which is the state's top government lawyer, becoming the first person of colour and the first woman to hold this position. 6 years later, she ran for a seat in the US Senate, which she won. And then in 2020, she set her sights on being the US president. But Kamala ended up canning her campaign and throwing her support towards Joe Biden.
We did it, Joe.
Who, as we know, won the 2020 election and appointed Kamala as the Vice President of the United States, being once again the first woman and first person of color to do so.
While I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last.
Now, it's looking like Kamala could be back in the race for presidency, after Joe Biden pulled out following a rather dismal debate.
The total initiative.
And a lot of people saying he's, well, a bit too old for the job.
I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor.
While Joe Biden will remain president until the end of the year, he has endorsed Kamala taking his spot in the current election.
And it is my great honor to have Joe's endorsement in this race.
I'm watching you, kid. I love you.
I love you, Joe.
But Kamala isn't officially the Democrats' candidate just yet, although she has received support from a majority of her party, and it's expected that she will be announced as the party's nominee later next month at the Democratic National Convention. If she does get chosen as the Democratic nominee, she'll take on the Republican nominee, Donald Trump, who took the news, well...
Kamala, you're fired! Get out of here! You're fired!
So how has the US responded to Kamala? Well, as expected, it's been a mix of memes and out-of-context quotes.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
As well as a few celebrity endorsements. But with just months left until voting day, experts say she's going to have to get out there and get campaigning.
I wish the best of luck to the Vice President, Kamala Harris, but Donald Trump's going to take her out without a doubt.
She can take down Trump in a heartbeat. She can eviscerate him with her words.
I'm going to miss Joe, but together they have a great record, and I think that she can run on that and do just fine.
Do you know who this is? It's Linda Burney, who until recently was the Minister for Indigenous Australians. She announced her retirement last week, along with Skills and Training Minister Brendan O'Connor.
It's time for me to pass on the baton to the next generation.
Malarndirri McCarthy has been named as the new Indigenous Australians Minister, while Andrew Giles will be moved from the immigration portfolio to skills and training. And they're not the only changes. In fact, the Prime Minister took the chance to do a major reshuffle of his cabinet.
This is the team that I will take to the election.
The South Australian government has seized hundreds of cans of drink containing illegal levels of what? Caffeine, alcohol, or sugar? It's caffeine. Australia's food safety regulations say energy drinks can only have 320 milligrams of caffeine per litre. And the South Australian government says some of the drinks it found being sold in shops had almost twice that amount.
So these drinks are illegal. They've now been taken off the streets, particularly because of the impact that they have on our kids.
And the winners of the Young Archie have been announced. It's the junior version of which famous portrait prize? It's the Archibald. The Young Archies ask artists aged 5 to 18 to draw or paint someone who's important to them.
He's just like an awesome older brother. He just like inspires me with so much stuff that I'm into.
Remember when this happened? Businesses around the world are still counting the cost of the biggest tech outage in history, when millions of Windows users came face to face with the blue screen of death. Let's find out what happened and what we learned from the outage.
Dear Diary, I'm not sure how long it's been since the outage, but so much has changed. For starters, my hands are so sore from handwriting. Ugh. We also have to use things called books to find out information. But the worst is the blue. The blue screens. They're everywhere. They've taken control of everything. Everything!
In case you didn't know or didn't notice, on the 19th of July, computers all around the world did this. They stopped working and displayed what they call in the biz, the blue screen of death. And while it only lasted a few hours, it caused chaos.
So I was pretty much just sitting at home playing Valorant, and then all of a sudden, last round, and I see blue screen, sad face.
So I was walking in the mall and then the lights just turned off, and we were right next to a phone store and all the screens went like blue with a sad face.
I was at a friend's house and we were playing FIFA, and then our game stopped. Luckily I was losing, so it was alright then.
I thought at the time that something could have gone wrong, like maybe someone had hacked in to try and steal information.
So what actually happened? Well, this cybersecurity company named CrowdStrike delivered an update for software that's used by a lot of big businesses and organizations to protect them from things like malware, viruses, and cyber attacks. So you know, this sort of thing doesn't happen.
That screen is not normal.
Except that software update had a coding error in it which shut down more than 8 million Windows operating systems, affecting airports, shops, even news programs.
It's blue. They're all blue with a very sad face in the corner.
All systems down.
I was watching the news and it was talking all about the outage and what it had done, people stuck in airports, how busy it was.
Tech outages are impacting airlines, businesses, offices.
I know my dad was at the airport, he was impacted, my mum was at Coles, all the screens shut down.
While CrowdStrike fixed the issue within hours of it happening, it took days for businesses to get back to normal.
This will cost the Australian economy multiple billions of dollars.
And it got a lot of people wondering if we need to do more to protect ourselves from this sort of thing happening again.
CrowdStrike was the gold standard for not just software companies, but overall tech companies before this black eye incident.
Some say the outage showed how much of technology is controlled by just one or two big companies. So if something goes wrong with one of them, there are huge consequences. It also showed how much we rely on technology. And while this was an accident, some say it was a good dry run of what could happen if there was a serious cyber attack, and that we need to be better prepared if it happens again.
I do think we have become a bit more reliant on our technology.
We're pretty much running on it 24/7.
For some, it also showed that maybe we shouldn't be too quick to get rid of old-fashioned ways of doing things, like paying with cash or keeping records on paper.
We were at Coles, but none of us had cash on us because the machines had shut down, so none of us could buy our groceries.
CrowdStrike says nobody's personal data was lost or leaked in the outage. but it could be a while until we know the full damage of the great 2024 outage.
Oh, hey Jack, the computers are working. You just got to restart them.
Oh, thank goodness. How long has it been?
I don't know, like a couple of hours, 3 hours. Yeah.
3 hours? I thought it'd been days. Now to the other big news story that everyone's talking about, the Olympics. While I'm sure a lot of you have already started watching them, you won't be seeing too much of the action here on BTN. Here's Ren to explain why.
Hey, can you get out of the way?
Yeah, we're trying to watch the games.
I'm sorry, but I can't. I've got to keep dancing like this.
I don't know if I'd call that dancing.
What about this?
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Can you just get out of the way? Look, I would. Trust me, but I can't. You see, there's a camera right there, and we can't show the Olympics or the ABC will get into big trouble. So, yeah, I don't want to be responsible for that.
Yeah, if you want to see all the action in Paris, this is not the place to look. And that's because when it comes to the Olympics, there are a whole bunch of super strict rules about what we here at BTN and the rest of the ABC can and can't show.
According to official IOC rules, non-rights holding broadcasters, so us, operate on what's called the 3x3x3 rule. So that's a maximum of 3 minutes of Olympic footage across 3 different programs that must be played at least, yep, you guessed it, 3 hours apart. And by the time ABC Breakfast is over, the nightly news, and 7:30 have done their jobs, yeah, there's nothing left for us. Although we can show you some photos, and we can get creative.
Yep, it's Olympic time.
And it's not just us. In fact, the only TV station that can actually show the games on Aussie TV is Channel 9.
Why?
Because they bought the rights.
Oh, well, how much did they pay?
Oh, you know, just $305 million.
Oh, well, that is quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't have that much.
Me neither.
Yeah, broadcasting rights are a big deal. Not just for the Olympics, but for most big sporting events.
What a goal!
It's actually how a lot of these big sporting organisations make money. And for TV stations, it's a way to get a lot of viewers and sell a lot of ads.
But the Olympics can't just be bought by any TV broadcaster or streaming service. They have to be bought by an Australian free-to-air TV station.
Oh, like us!
No, we didn't buy the rights, remember?
Oh.
You see, Australia has a set of laws known as an anti-siphoning scheme.
Don't worry though, it's not as complicated as it sounds.
Anti-siphoning laws were designed to make sure that everyone can watch big events that are seen as culturally important, like the World Cup, Grand Finals, and, yep, the Olympics, for free. They were established back in the 1990s, when pay TV broadcasters, TV you have to pay to watch, first became a thing. Lots of people were worried that they'd be able to pay more than free-to-air channels to buy these events. So the government brought in laws to make sure that free channels got first dibs. Late last year, the laws were updated to also cover streaming services, so that, say, Netflix or Amazon can't outbid the old-fashioned freebies.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, as long as you watch broadcast TV.
Oh.
Some people have criticised the new laws because they left a loophole for online viewing, meaning big companies like these could buy the rights to stream things online and make you pay to watch. But this year at least, the Olympics will be free to watch on Channel 9, whether it's live or on demand.
Oh, okay, cool. But can we go back to watching the games again now, please?
Okay, but we're gonna have to end the story here then.
It's fine by me.
Okay, you know what, me too, honestly. I'm pretty tired of dancing like this. Cut the cameras.
Now, I hope you're hungry because this next story is all about a nutritious and delicious food source: insects. Singapore recently approved 16 species as food, and Kushi found out why experts are pushing for more of us to grab some grubs for our grub.
Anything off the trolley, dears?
No thanks. I'm all set. We'll take the lot.
That's the spirit, Harry. Yum, yum, yum. Here's some silkworm chips, cockroach cookies, and some worm biscuits.
Yeah, well, this might seem a little, fantastical. It may not be long before snacks like these are making it onto real-life menus. You see, recently in Singapore, the government has approved 16 insect species for humans to eat. There's crickets, grasshoppers, worms, beetles, and even a honeybee. And while it might sound a little unusual, eating bugs is hardly a new idea.
It just tastes like chips.
In fact, it's estimated that 2 billion people across the globe already eat insects. It's been a big part of lots of different cultures and cuisines for a really long time. From deep-fried spiders in Vietnam to live scorpion kebabs in China. And here in Australia, First Nations people have been eating insects like witchetty grubs and honey ants for thousands of years. In fact, many experts like Ishka here say more of us should chow down on some creepy crawlies.
What's really promising about insects is that they're rich in high-quality protein as well as fats and micronutrients. So they provide us with a lot of nutrients that we need within our everyday diet.
For example, a kilo of mayfly larvae has more protein than a kilo of beef, chicken, or eggs. And then there's crickets, which have more than 3 times the amount of B12 vitamins than salmon. While grasshoppers and silkworms have 3 times more antioxidants than orange juice. And insects are also really good for the planet because they use way less resources than farm animals.
Farming a species like a mealworm requires little land, water, and produces lower greenhouse gases than more conventional animal proteins like cattle or cows.
So we know they can be good for us, then why are we eating them?
When I was growing up, insects weren't really seen as something that was great. They were seen as maybe a pest or a bit of a nuisance when you're out camping over the summer. So if we then suggest that you put an insect in your food, that gives you a bit of a funny feeling in your stomach that we call disgust.
Ishka says getting over that ick factor can take a change in your attitude and a bit of practice.
Are you ready to try some insects?
No.
So this is a cricket falafel. It's a normal falafel, but it has cricket powder added to it.
This is for you, BTN.
What do you think?
It's actually really good.
Yeah?
It's really good.
Like a normal falafel.
Good. So, what do you think? Would you eat bugs?
I wouldn't, but if it's a survival situation, I would.
I don't want to eat bugs on a daily basis.
I would vomit. I really hate bugs. Not spiders, not millipedes, not centipedes, none of those gross ones.
I think toast would go well with bugs.
What insects are eaten the most by humans? Is it moths, worms, or beetles? It's beetles. There are 696 edible beetle species, although most of them are eaten in the larval stage as mealworms.
When it comes to sports, there's really only one game in town, and that's the Olympic Games. As we explained, we can't show you much, but here's a breakdown of what's been going on. Things kicked off with a stunner of an opening ceremony. Well, apart from a few small hiccups, like the Olympic flag being raised upside down. As for the Games, Australia's already off to its best ever start. In fact, we're already in second place on the medal tally. Flag bearer Jess Fox has brought home her second Olympic gold medal after dominating the canoe slalom.
these are so unique. Having that piece of Eiffel Tower, I was like, I want one of these. So absolutely thrilled to get one.
And she had plenty of fans cheering her on.
We just went to enjoy the show, and what a show, hey?
It's like you can't recreate that. So yeah, so proud of the Australians. Amazing to see another Aussie gold, so well done, Jess.
She's far from the only Aussie champ though. Grace Brown took out gold for women's cycling, and it's Gold City over in the world of swimming, with Ariane Titmus and our 4x100 metre freestyle team earning gold too, meaning legend Emma McKeon has now overtaken Ian Thorpe as the most successful Australian Olympian ever, with 6 golds across her career. Also keeping their Olympic dreams alive are the Matildas. After a shock loss to Germany last week, they bounced back to defeat Zambia 6-5, meaning they'll get to stay in the comp and take on the USA on Thursday. And that's today's Olympics updates.
Finally today, we're going to meet 16-year-old tennis star Emerson Jones. Earlier this year, she made the Australian Open junior finals, and recently she became the first Aussie in 13 years to reach the Wimbledon girls final. Kushi caught up with her to find out what it was like.
Excellent from Jones.
Please welcome the finalist from the 2024 Australian Open Junior Girls Singles, Emerson Jones from Australia.
You're 16 and world number 2. How does that feel?
Didn't really expect me to be world number 2 a couple of years ago. It's really, really exciting, yeah.
So tell me, how did you get into tennis?
My brother started playing. He just hit a couple balls and started doing some sessions, and my parents thought it'd be easier to put both kids into tennis. I didn't really like it at the start, but now, obviously when I started competing, I started enjoying it, so yeah.
Can you walk us through a little bit of a day in the life?
I train in Brisbane, so I go there in the morning or I stay there overnight. I train for a couple of hours in the morning, then I'll either do fitness or gym after that. Have some lunch and probably do some school for a couple of hours. Then I'll go train my second session and then probably do some fitness again or something after that. What's been the highlight of your career so far? Probably, yeah, Wimbledon Juniors. That was pretty big. I've always loved the grass. And AO, obviously. It was really emotional at the end. I was really happy with how I played overall in AO. I played unreal that week.
What's your goal in tennis?
Winning Wimbledon one day, maybe. Winning slams. Yeah, but right now my focus is just to get my women's ranking up.
So you just played the Wimbledon finals. How was that experience?
No, it was great. Playing on court 1 too, in front of the crowd. I've never been in one of the stadiums in Wimbledon, so that was even cool just to see it, and let alone play on it. That was great.
You played Renata Yamrikova. You played her in the Aussie Open finals as well. How did it feel going into this match?
Well, there was no pressure on me because obviously I wasn't seeded higher than her. She was seeded and she beat me last time and she's won a slam already. I went into the match relaxed, thinking I'm just going to play my best, try to play my best, and yeah, see how I went.
When you make these Grand Slam finals, you have to do a speech.
Firstly, I just want to say thank you to everyone that supported me.
Is the speech scarier than actually playing tennis?
I wasn't nervous at the start of the match. I was nervous at the start of my speech though. I feel like I'm getting better at interviews than the speaking. It's a learning experience talking every time in front of a lot of people. It was an amazing experience with the crowds and everything.
And is that your trophy cabinet in the back? Can we have a quick look?
Okay, all right, we'll do that.
What's your favourite trophy?
Well, that's the Wimbledon, that one, obviously. That's the Wimbledon one, that's the AO one.
Do you have any tips for any young kids wanting to go into tennis or any other sport?
I guess enjoy the journey because it's obviously really tough sometimes and then really good up and down moments. Yeah, just love what you're doing, I guess.
Oh, I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more of Emerson in the future. Well, that's it for today, but we'll have more for you next week. And until then, you can stay up to date with Newsbreak every weeknight, and you can jump online to check out more stories and quizzes and teacher resources. Have a great week. I'll see you next time. Bye.